Presbyterian Church in Alton, Illinois, is a story of its inspired and dedicated members, its visionary clergy, the buildings where they worshiped, and the many ways in which they were useful to God and their community. In 1818, as Illinois was being admitted to the Union, the town of Alton was being developed by the Honorable Rufus Easton of St. Louis. He had laid out the town and named it after his son, Alton. Easton hired a young man, Thomas Lippincott, to be a clerk in a store and to make a map of Alton which could be sent back east in order to sell lots. During the spring of 1831, while the Black Hawk War was still being fought, Thomas Lippincott returned to Alton as an ordained Presbyterian minister. His task? To organize a church. Enoch Long offered his home for the organizational meeting place. The new church was organized on June 19, 1831. Services were held in the new brick schoolhouse, and there were 8 members. For the first 2 years, services were held at the Lyceum Hall, which was located at 3rd and Market. The hall was used by both Presbyterians and Baptists. In 1833, Alton was granted a town charter, and 2 very influential people of Alton joined our church, Captain Benjamin Godfrey and Winthrop Gilman. Gilman, a prosperous New York lawyer, was married to Reverend Lippincott's daughter. After joining the church, Godfrey built a beautiful stone church on the northeast corner of 3rd and Market. Then he donated the use of the building to the First Presbyterian Church. Mr. Gilman's mother gave the gift of a bell, which was installed in the church spire. Benjamin Godfrey had donated the church building at 3rd and Market and property to Monticello Seminary. The school needed money, so they put the First Presbyterian home up for sale. The members of First Presbyterian decided it was time to build their own church. And the ladies were the first to move on the matter by raising $600. The gentlemen began to feel the life of the church depended on having a new building in which to worship God. A lot was selected at the southeast corner of Market and 2nd Street. The building was brick, rectangular with the end facing Market Street with Corinthian columns, and the bell was properly installed in its new tower. In 1846, First Presbyterian Church in Alton moved into their new home. The church continued to grow, and in 1853, the building had to be expanded to the sidewalk, losing the columns and leaving a graceless exterior. Reverend Norton resigned as of May 24, 1857, but served as supply pastor for the next year. Norton had a love for this church and had stuck by it in thick and thin. He is known as the father of Presbyterianism in Illinois. He founded more churches in Illinois, Kansas, and Missouri than any other individual of his time. At the age of 80, he wrote the 2-volume History of the Presbyterian Church in Illinois. The need to build a church was on everyone's mind for some time. In 1890, the Ladies' Aid Society purchased a lot for the church, 60 feet on Albee Street by 120 feet on 4th Street. In June 1896, the brick church which had been built and occupied by these Presbyterians was sold, and the last religious service was held there on June 28, 1896. In January 1897, ground was broken for the new church. The cornerstone was laid July 5th, and the church was dedicated December 8th, 1897. The cost of this project was $26,000. Gifts, pledges, plus the sale of the previous church brought the total raised to $20,000. The evening service on the day of dedication was led by Reverend W.H. Penhaligon of Decatur. A later remembrance of that day stated, Dr. Penhaligon had pulling powers which would make a modern tractor envious. He could lean over the pulpit and fairly extract money from people's pockets. And when the service was over, more than $6,000 had been raised, and the church was dedicated debt-free. Over the past 175 years, our church has overcome many obstacles and will continue to do so in the future because of the determination and loyalty of our staff, clergy, and members.